NAV for government contractors. And I just wanted to let you know offhand here that there's an ability for you to ask questions at any point during this by using the question box that should be on the upper right hand of your webinar. So before we get into the demo, just a little information about myself. I'm Jessica Newman. I'm one of the senior sales executives here at Pleasant Valley Business Solutions. I've been working in the software industry as a salesperson for 3 years and spent the 11 years prior to that as a CPA. So my goal with Pleasant Valley is to help my clients improve profitability by reducing the total cost of ownership. And I'm helping to do that with providing a DCAA compliant ERP and project accounting system, and you'll see that today. So when I'm not working, there's a few things I enjoy doing. Spending time with my husband and my dog, expanding my culinary arts and cake decorating skills, and bringing my products to the office. And I also volunteer here at a local thrift store that's a 501c3. So it's just a little background on me.
And I'd say my favorite thing about Jessica is the cakes she brings in. Although they're not good for my waistline, they do taste delicious. So.
Thanks, Paul. So a little bit about Pleasant Valley. We're focused on serving the government contractor community. Now, that's not to say that we're not also working with many clients that have a commercial line of business or a huge portion of their business in the commercial industry, but we are focused on helping the special needs of government contractors across, with various agencies and various types of contracts.
Yeah, and in fact, we've got clients that are 100% professional services and some that also provide products, whether they're in a contract manufacturing mode with the government, or we've also got clients that actually resell products for the federal government. So.
Right. So, this slide has a lot of information, and I'm happy to send this to anybody that wants to read it in greater detail. But high level, I think what's really important and makes us stand apart from some of our competition is that we have unlimited number of users with time and expense. The core package includes over 14 modules, and really it's all about scalability. We're there to help you grow and to save dollars on the bottom line. The other thing that's really great is the Microsoft look and feel and the integrated infrastructure with Project and SharePoint and Excel and Outlook, and you'll see some of that today.
Yeah, and I think that what clients are really gravitating towards is that if you've already made investments in Microsoft, I think this helps to drive more value out of your existing investments.
Yeah. So just some of the logos of some of our existing clients, and as Paul mentioned, who's the other voice here in the room, we have clients that are professional services, product resellers, and clients that are also doing manufacturing for the federal government. So it's been great, 10+ years with working with companies, and we hope to work with you as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's great is that from a scalability perspective, we have clients that are 40 to 50 employees up to thousands of employees. So we've got clients that are around 4,000 employees that run the solution, and we've had a lot of great success stories of clients that started using the application and might have had 100 or 150 people, and then over the next couple of years they doubled the business. And I think the great things is that licensing impact and the fact that from an efficiency perspective they can do more with their existing staff. So they don't need to add staff. They're leveraging technology to really better run their business.
So I wanted to now officially introduce you to Paul Skirpsky, who's one of the founders of Pleasant Valley Business Solutions and is also our Vice President of Sales and Marketing. And he's going to be leading us through the demonstration today of the solution. And I think after we spend the next 20 minutes or so going through this, you'll have a better sense as to why so many clients that are using QuickBooks or using some other system want to come on to Microsoft NAV, as well as companies who are already using Deltek and they're looking for something that's a little easier, a little more effective with their other Microsoft products, just looking to make that change. So thanks, Paul, so much.
Yeah.
And,
well, thank you, Jessica, for the introduction. And, we're excited to have Jessica on board. I mean, she's really a rare combination of somebody that understands technology, but also understands our clients. So being a CPA, as she says, a recovering accountant, she really understands our customers. So the controllers and CFOs, at our clients and prospects, they're able to have a good business discussion with Jessica. And really what we strive to do is provide a solution that is compliance plus a solution to help you manage your business. So we've got a great organization, and it's really about our people, so great people like Jessica. And we've got our employees that actually are out there delivering the solutions, that come from the industry. In fact, we've got 2 former DCA auditors that are on the delivery team in the organization. So really bringing a wealth of experience to the table, along with, I think, a great technology solution. So today what we're planning to do is give you just a 20-minute overview of the solution. And if you're looking for a more in-depth presentation, we can do an on-site presentation for you or something over the web. And we have every other month, hour-long webinars. And then probably about 4 times a year we have in-person events in the different regions that we focus in. So, Jessica will have an in-person event coming to a place close to you here in the near future. All right, so let me go ahead and we'll get into the product demonstration and give people a little taste of what is Microsoft Dynamics NAV. I guess before I get into the details of it, one of the things I do want to mention is, oftentimes people sometimes haven't heard of the product or didn't realize Microsoft was in the space. And the thing that I'll say is that Microsoft, they acquired 2 companies. I guess it's been about 13 years now. And they acquired a company called Navision, which I've been working with that company, not actually for them, but we were a client of theirs, I guess back in the late 90s. And Microsoft, after the acquisition, Navision, or Dynamics NAV, has become the fastest growing mid-market solution in the world, and also the most widely used. So there's now over 100,000 companies worldwide using Dynamics NAV, making it the most widely used mid-market product. And what we're doing is really focusing our business on companies that have some level of business with the federal government. What I'm going to do is show you the different aspects of the application. So right now I'm inside of Dynamics NAV. I'm in the Role Center, logged in as an accounting manager. And the idea of the Role Center is it's a place where somebody based on a particular role has all the key information related to their particular aspect of the business. So in this case, on the accounting side, I can see information regarding who started a timesheet but didn't submit it, or who has an expense report that's been processed that accounting needs to then take the next step. So I can also drill into these different queues. And in this case, here are the 2 people that have submitted and had an expense report approved. And now I need to, as the accounting manager, go ahead and take it to the next step, which is make sure that we've got the proper receipt documentation on file, and I can pull up those receipts that they loaded from the web time and expense system. Then once that we accept it, we can turn it into a purchase invoice. So part of the workflow process, and as you'll see throughout the system, more visualization of data. I can also see information related to my particular Outlook calendar. And each one of these areas gives the user their own little configuration options. So I can decide what do I want to show or hide on my particular view. I'll get into some of the other elements of the accounting system in just a minute, but while I'm here, I want to show you that it's more than just an accounting application. It's a full enterprise system for somebody that sells to the federal government. What you can see from the department menu is the depth of capabilities. And all these modules are fully integrated, so everything on the financial management side, from general ledger, cash management, AP, AR, fixed assets, sales order processing, purchase order management, warehousing and manufacturing. A lot of our clients that are doing project-based work, they're focused on project accounting. So we'll get into some of the details in today's presentation of what are the under-the-cover elements related to project accounting. Product contracts, service management, it's got HR and payroll, but we also integrate out of the box with ADP, Paychecks, and payroll networks. And then we also have clients that use other third-party products that we can integrate with. But the idea is, if you do payroll in-house, we can handle those things. If you outsource it, we've got those out-of-the-box integrations available for you. So at a high level, those are the different modules within the accounting system. And again, it's more of an enterprise business system, in this case, targeted towards the government contractor. The second piece we'll get into today is from a web, and you can access that system. Microsoft offers both a full client, which is what I was showing there, and there's a web-based client, and then also a SharePoint client. Jessica mentioned some of the value with that Microsoft integration. You'll see the integration with SharePoint, Excel, and Word throughout the system, or I should say Office, including email throughout the system. I'm logged in right now into the web portal, and what you're looking at here is a role center for a project manager or supervisor. And from here, I can see information related to my role. So I can see who's missing hours for anybody that reports to me. In this case, everyone entered time for yesterday. That's great. I can also see funding alerts. So if I am managing a project, anytime it hits 75% of funding consumed, I get notified on my home page. There is some standard workflows built into the system. We can also leverage the SharePoint workflows as necessary, but some of the standard workflows are related to approving purchase requisitions, or the hierarchy of how you approve a purchase requisition. Same thing for PTO or expense reports. I get notified of these things via email, and I can also launch the request from my home page that allows me to go in and approve or reject one of those workflows. In this case, if I wanted to reject the time off request, I can identify why and notify them via their home page and or email. One of the big differentiators of this solution that Jessica talked about was, we talked about the ease of use, the affordability. The other thing you see is deep government contract capabilities. So it's not just inside the accounting system, it's also from this web portal. And it's information in more of a real-time fashion. So I can see data related to, in this case, utilization. And I'm looking at both my personal utilization, and then everybody reports to me. So in this case, in my demo system, it's showing that my subordinates are 62% utilized in the current timesheet period. What's great is I don't have to wait until that data is posted to get visibility of it. So now I can take action because I'm getting notified in more of a real-time fashion. And then you can also see top right-hand corner, budget versus actual data. And again, more real-time information for people to make good decisions. And if you want to just see the overall capabilities, we're on the role center, but also time entry and approval, expense entry and approval, and also the purchase requisition process. And all these elements are configured and designed in a way that they meet the compliance needs. So again, compliance is at the core of the system, plus a business management solution. And then when you talk about reports, there's really three places for reports in the system. You've got financial reports that are all built right into the application with drill down capability. And then we've got reports leveraging SQL reporting services, which is the report writer. And what's great is the reporting is all built into the Microsoft infrastructure. So you don't need to worry about third-party products. All these things work seamlessly together. So the reporting from the web, I think that you can get an idea of some of the standard reports, so everything from aged project reports through labor reports, project status, and ODC reports, designed for PMs and supervisors to get information on their projects or people. The third type of reporting element is what we call analysis services. So analysis services is the data cube technology within SQL Server, and what it allows us to do is really create more of a visual presentation of data. So we've created a standard data cube and some standard views, and actually the webinar coming up this Thursday is going to dig deeper into this, so I'll just kind of give you a high-level overview today. But some of the standard views, in this case I'm on a project view, and I'm looking at the spend report. And what the spend report is showing me is a combination of, I choose a project and I choose one or multiple tasks that I want to manage. And then I choose a period in terms of what is the end period. So I'm looking at data through June of 2010. And now it's showing me up to that period what is the project revenue month over month for the project. What are the operating expenses, including my allocations of indirects, net profit or loss, and then you can see at the bottom the spent. So that's how much of the funding was used in that period. And when you select the value, you can see up in your formula bar that it's not a number. It's actually just pulling from the data cube. So that data cube gets refreshed on a regular basis to give the PM the right information to best manage their project. And then over to the right, we're providing a little predictive analytics to show, based on that average burn rate, how many months of funding does the system think we have left. So it's almost 60 months of funding based on our current funding left and our average burn rate. So really going back to how do we help people to be more effective and efficient performing their job. So Jessica, I guess the question becomes, as someone from a technology perspective, giving people the good information, I would say it has a big impact on not creating a lot of extra work for accounting, trying to create these views when people can create their own. And like you mentioned, it's about how do we help people to be more effective and drive profitability in the business. So.
Absolutely.
All right, so what I wanted to do is show one quick example of how we can do these type of things on the fly inside the system. And as I mentioned, we are, in this case, we're right inside of Excel, but you don't need to use Excel as the front end. Often our clients do because, one, they already own Excel and people already know how to use it. But you can use other BI front ends. So the back end technology is SQL Analysis Services. And then in this case, we're just connecting it right to Excel. And Excel, what we've seen is that even with large clients, oftentimes Excel becomes an analytical tool for the business. But how we help is you can see all the different standard measures, and it's all in English, so I don't need to be a programmer to understand these. So I can see information related to budgeted hours, and these are project budgeted hours. So we offer both project budget data and then financial budget data. So you can actually consolidate all your projects and do a bottoms-up budget where you budget all the projects and then create an overall corporate budget. But I've got all the job budget data or project budget data, then the job ledger entry data. So this is more of analysis of, in this case, AR by project and its different elements. There are billings, hours, labor costs. I won't read each one, but these are standard measures that our clients typically are trying to analyze. So if I wanted to analyze revenue, I can just take that measure and drag and drop it into my view, and now it's showing me what is the overall revenue for the business. And then I can go down to a lower section of how I might want to group it. So if I wanted to group it by contract or customer, I can just select that measure and group it by one of those data elements. So I'm going to group it by division name, and we'll drop it in there. Now here are all my divisions. Let's go ahead and let's filter some of these out. So if you've used Excel before, you've probably done some filtering. So we'll just choose our civilian, commercial, and federal division. And now here's a view of those different data elements. And then in terms of the columns, those would be periods or projects that we want to analyze across. So whether it's by calendar year or fiscal year, you can decide what kind of detail. Let's go ahead and we can look at it by year, month, quarter. So we'll go ahead and grab quarter and drop it as a column. So now we're showing across those three divisions what is the revenue quarter over quarter. And then from here I'm going to use some of my Excel experience to do some, in this case we'll do some conditional formatting. And we're highlighting what divisions are driving the majority of the revenue. Actually, I'll go ahead and put a chart in there too, because everybody loves charts. So we'll chart that same data. And now we quickly just created an overview of business performance and not having to be a technical person to get those answers. And if you wanted different values, so instead of looking at revenue, we're doing a series, and Jessica talked about this, about government contractors. How do you drive profitability in your business? And we've got some great speakers that we've got lined up for that. So if you wanted to know, is your business profitable, you probably already know that, but if you want to know more details about it, you can grab that profit value, and we'll drop it in as a measure. And now it's showing us a little different picture of the business. So let's go ahead and we'll do the same highlighting. We'll conditionally format this so I can just imagine that the federal division is going to be red, and it is, because you can see that there was a lot of money lost in that period. Maybe you want to better understand why. So I can actually drill into any one of the divisions. So we'll drill into federal, and I could further analyze it by contract, by customer, maybe by PM. So let's look at it by contract. Let's see what contracts we're making or losing money on. And you can see that the majority of the business is running through that top contract, ARCI contract. And I could continue to drill into that by selecting that particular contract. And then maybe we want to look at who are the PMs that are managing task orders under that. So I'll drill to the PMs in that contract. And now you can see there's quite a bit of business on there. And you can continue to drill until, in this case, we'll get to projects. So I'll select one of the PMs, and now it's showing here's the projects that that particular PM manages, and I can see profitability, in this case, on Jerry's 3 projects that he manages. So what you're able to do is, as an executive or even as a PM, look at things at a higher level and really focus your attention on where you need to improve or opportunities for driving new revenue. So just one example of how people are using the analytics tool to better run their business. So compliance plus a business management solution. So that's kind of a general overview of the different elements of the application. I do want to go back into Dynamics NAV just to cover a couple things, because Jessica mentioned to me that there's a lot of folks in the call today that are professional services companies, and I did just want to touch a little bit on some of the aspects of setting up new projects and some of the capabilities here. So I'm going to actually hop into one of the projects and just touch on, from a high level, some things here. So the first thing is, in terms of managing different types of contracts, the system supports managing T&M, firm fixed price, including level of effort, milestone, or fixed monthly amount billing, cost plus contracts, whether it's fixed fee, incentive fee, or award fee. So these type of awards can be managed all within the contract. And you saw some of those fields that we were pivoting on, information like the contract or who is the PM. So all those data points, we're capturing them and making it available inside that data queue. And then we talked about other elements that we were showing from a reporting perspective, so we can track the contract and funded value for a project, including showing all the incremental funding. So any funding mod that came through, you can identify that, and the system rolls all those funding mods from the task orders they're issued against through that funding mod all the way up to the overall job. And then I think other key things you can see, we talked a little bit about reporting, but throughout the system you're going to see information available even on data entry screens. So I can see for this job details related to contract information, revenue, cost, commitments. And anytime you see a number in the system with a line underneath of it, it tells me I can drill into it. So I can drill into those commitments to show the detail of it, whether I'm purchasing materials or I've committed to a subcontractor a certain number of hours against a labor category. I can see those details right from my screen. So that kind of gives you an idea, and we can get into more details related to setting up and managing those projects inside the accounting system. Today was meant for a general overview to get people introduced to it and really help them to see why so many people are switching.
Right.
And then the last thing is just really related to document management. Whether you're using SharePoint or a file server, you can actually drag and drop documents into NAV, and if you use SharePoint, it'll put it right into SharePoint for you.
It's really neat.
Yeah. So I think people, what they're seeing is it's helping to drive efficiencies in their business, and really, starting to change the way that people think about, business software systems. It's not just difficult and hard to get the information. Something that's becoming easier and really providing the right information to the right people at the right time. So the last thing we want to touch on, and I know we've got a few questions out there, is that today was meant just a quick introduction. We do have a webinar coming up this Thursday on more details related to reporting, including we're going to highlight our incurred cost submission tool. So this solution allows us to automatically fill out the government's Excel workbook, and we'll show you some examples of that, along with other reporting capabilities inside the system. So I want to put up Jessica's information. So again, excited to have Jessica here. She's got that rare blend of the accounting knowledge, being a CPA, really understands your pain points, has worked with government contractors, and I know she's excited to get out there and meet all the companies that are on the call today, and also other new clients that are coming up.
Absolutely. So thanks again, Paul, for your time, and everybody for participating. I sent you an email earlier, so you should also have my direct cell phone number and email, and I'll be reaching back out to you as well. There are a few questions, as Paul mentioned, and we're going to be getting in touch with you to make sure that you have the answers. And I'm looking forward to speaking with all of you.
All right, so Jess, I'm going to just cover, I guess there's a couple we'll just cover on the phone, because people, I guess other people might have these same questions. And the first one comes from Brian, and Brian asks, where does the data reside, local or remote, server or cloud-based? So I think one of the great things about Microsoft is that really they want to provide options. So you have both of those available to you. So whether you want to have it be a local instance or you want to have it be cloud-based, those are both available. So I think for clients it really comes down to what's most important to them. And then the second question is regarding the time frame for delivery, and really that one varies. And there's several other questions. We're just going to cover two, and Jessica will follow up with the individuals. But the other one was regarding time frame to implement, and the time frame, it can range. So we've got what we call a template delivery model, or best practice delivery, that allows us to get a client up and running very rapidly. And what Jessica can do is talk to the companies that are interested in time frame. We can ask you a few questions and let you know, but it can be anywhere from, we've done projects as quick as 30 to 45 days. The typical time frame is about 90 days for our normal client. And then when we do enterprise type projects, that can be much larger and more complicated, those will range anywhere from 9 months to a year. So really it's specific to your project and the approach we take. I think we try to make sure we understand your business and what's important to you before we give you details on the project plan, but we've done a wide variety of projects, a lot of success. We've got 100% success rate in terms of clients going through DCA audits. There's a question on DCA audits, so we won't get into the details of that, but we appreciate you being here today. Excited to introduce you to Jessica, and for those that I've met with before, thanks for joining. For those that I haven't met yet, I look forward to meeting you, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.